Hello and welcome again to Myra's Crafting Playground. Wait, what do you say? Is that another crazy hat? And some jingle bell earrings? And oh wait, no wait, not another pug. Yes, 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 and yes. A little bit of holly jolly. Anyhow, so welcome back and hope we can have a little bit more fun crafting together. So today I have for you a little bit non-traditional colors, Coastal Cabana, and it's just a simple snowman, a snowflake, and let it snow. And I've used our postage dies. It comes in a set, so you can see this one, the DSP, was cut in the postage dies as well. And so this is the postage die set. There are 12 different dies in the set. So you can see there's not 12 there, and that's because the ones we are using today are this one, which cut out the designer series paper, this one for the snowflake, and these two, and I lied, there should be a third one here from the set, this bigger one here that goes here. That one should have been there as well, sorry. Those were used, the bigger one for the snowman, and the middle one and the big one for the snowman, and the middle one and the smaller one for the Let It Snow greeting. These two dies on the other side, the snowman and the snowflake, they're from a set called Snowy Wonder. And this set is really nice. If you look at the bundle, I have the dies inside here, of course minus the snowflake and snowman, but there's all kinds of things that you can make your own snow globe. There's the base, that's for the tree container to put your tree in so it doesn't topple over. Probably this one here, that's a bit bigger. There's a little gingerbread house, and all of those dies accompany what's on the front here. Oh, turn it upside down and it's a snowman hat. Well, you know what? I just might still add that to my snowman because he kind of looked like there was something wrong with his head. So, I don't know, bald snowmen don't appeal to me at all. I'm just saying. So we'll add that hat on after. I'm going to cut that out in black and pop that on his head. So in the meantime, let me show you what I've got. So, all right, let's go down to the table and begin with what we have, and bear in mind that snowman hat is going to come, and I'll add a picture in the comments after I've added that on. So down to the table we go. So relatively simple card because you have your card base, 5.5 by 8.5, fold it at 4 1/4. And with my bone folder, there's your base. Then the first layer is your Coastal Cabana, and that one is at 4 by 5 1/4. So, and as you can see this time I did not pre-tape everything. So we'll just add that on. What day is it today? Today is, oh my goodness, 17, day 17 of our Advent calendar. It's getting close. It's getting close. I heard 8 more sleeps until the big guy arrives. So hopefully you're all organized. And let's peel off these. I still have some shopping to do. All right, here we go for the bird's eye view. Get that on. All right, and now we'll do the same with this. So it looks like snowflakes. That's the look I was going for on the back. This is from the, oh my goodness, I used this the other day, the winter nests, bird nests, no, it was, oh my goodness. Epic fail. I have forgotten the name again. Okay, I will look that up. We'll give that a, that's in the, I believe it is in the annual catalog, not the mini, but since I'm doing so well, I should probably double check that too. Isn't that awful? Alright, so I'm just taping this down. I have popped the snowman and the snowflake. Everything else is flat. That's just what I've chosen to do. Of course, if you like to, you could pop each of the panels for each of the 3 sections, for the snowflake, the snowman, and the greeting. But I've decided to put it flat. So I'm going with flat. Okay, so I've pre-cut my squares. So this is just one of the smallest squares with the one size up to do the next square. So I'm going to put that together. This is going to be like a super fast card. So we'll put that together. Sorry, my son just popped in and scared the bejeebers out of me. I don't know, did you hear that creak in the chair? I must have jumped a mile high. Craft room is a sacred sanctuary. People shouldn't be dropping in. Well, then again, that's a lie. I like people dropping in. And I like crafting together, so if you're a crafter and need a crafting buddy, you know, there's always Zoom. Lots of opportunities to craft together. All right, we'll get that on there. Okay, so this is just going to have my snowman on it. This one is going to have my greeting. So I'm just going to, I have it here, let it snow. And we'll open up our Memento Black. Get that on there. And stamp it on. Now you could emboss this if you wanted to give it a bit more zing. You could do it maybe in silver, that might be nice, just to complement the whole card. I've done it in black just because I wanted it to stand out a bit more. Okay, so I'm going to start by putting down these pieces. Now I chose to put my big one down first. When I was looking at it, putting it together, I sort of thought, how am I going to start? How am I going to make sure that these are going to align together? And I ended up going with the big one first because then I could feed the little ones off of how it was centered. So we'll just pop these down. Well, most of my videos have been somewhere 15-20 minutes, and I know that I know that I did some pre-work, so it's not exactly 15 to 20 minutes. That would be a bit of a lie, but it's certainly quick enough that if you wanted to get some cards done, you know, you should be able to do some in a day and get them done. Get them done. Get them ready for next year. What the heck? Alright, I haven't attached my Let It Snow yet. I think I was just kind of waiting, letting that ink set, although it dries pretty instantaneous. Okay, so for this one, I'm still going to kind of work my equal distance there. I'm just kind of going to put it down so it has a bit of a border all the way around between the sides here. So it's just there. And let's get that Let It Snow on there. We can wait no longer. Let's just get her down. There we go. Make sure and put it right side up now. Having said that, I had to check my card. So here's another card where I could have cut it by 4 1/4 by 11 to give it a different stand-up opportunity. Oh dear, there's my pug barking at airplanes again. Ever since the pandemic, he's decided that airplanes have no place in his backyard. Because of course during the pandemic there were so few planes, you didn't really see them, and then all of a sudden they were back introduced into the environment, and the pug, he didn't approve of that. Nobody checked with him first. I don't know what's going on there. So now every time he sees an airplane, especially in the evening with the lights, he decides that he just has to bark like a crazy pug at that airplane up in the air. Okay, this one I am centering over this one. This probably should have been down a bit more now that I have this one up here. But oh well. You just go with it, right? What do I say? Handmark, not hallmark. Handmade, not hallmark. I don't even know what I say anymore. All right, let's get that snowflake on there. So we'll just pop that in there as best as we can to center it. Come on. Decided he should be a little bit more up. All right, so one thing I did do, I broke out the stickles. Of course, any type of glitter will do. A little blob of glue in the middle just to bring out the center of the snowflake. Of course, a rhinestone there would do, a pearl, you know, anything to make it pop a bit. And then I did add rhinestones on the card just to, you know, add some glitter, of course, because we need things to shine. All right, so the card is basically done except for the snowman. So we'll put that aside. We'll bring this one sort of a little bit more into view. And all I've done is shaded it up a bit with grays. So I'll show you what I did. First I took my marker because I thought this might be enough when I started. So I'm not going to change it up here. I'm going to do exactly what I did before. And I just sort of outlined each of his circles. So I just sort of gave him a bit of a shadow. I think I'm giving him a bit of a heavier shadow than I did before, but alas, we'll see what it looks like when we're done. Then I thought, well, that kind of looks goofy, and I wasn't too happy with it. Oh wait, I did add orange for his nose, because you know he's got a carrot stick nose. Okay, so those were my markers. Then I thought, well, that kind of looks funny. So I opted for, this is my light smoky slate, and it's starting to dry out. I've had this for quite some time, so I'm going to have a bit of a challenge here to make sure it works, but we're going to do our best. The ink isn't going all the way down to the nib, so instead of coloring with the nib, I'm having to color with the side of it a bit, which I'm not thrilled with. But again, I started, and so I'm going to roll with it. just going to try and bring in a bit of a shadow. It's really awkward coloring with this pen. And I'm going to do that up at his head. I'm not going to go all the way around there. And then for his body, I'm going to try and round out these corners a bit. I'm not going to go in and go square the way they do. So, like I said, this doesn't look like much either, okay? But then, the magic of glitter, okay, you know what? I think I'm going to put him on the panel first, because of course once I put the glitter it has to dry. So I'm going to put down, because the glitter is going to make him quite wet and he might fold a bit. So I'm going to put down 4 Stampin' Dimensionals on his back side here. And I do mean the back side of the stamp. So there he is. Not very pretty, okay? And I'm going to add him on here, bearing in mind that I'm going to pop a hat on there after. And then I am just going to add the magic of glitter all over him, because you know how snow is glittery. So we're just going to add on the glittery snow, and like I said, you can do this with any type of glitter you have. I'm just using a bottle of Stickles, but you can go ahead and just put on some glue that dries clear and add your loose glitter. It'll probably dry a lot faster than this, that's for darn sure. This I'd be happy if it dries overnight. And there you have it. Let me show you. It just adds a lot of shine, a lot of sparkle, picks up the card. Let's see, let's get this up here a bit. Ooh, that added a lot of light. There we go. It just adds a lot of shine. This one a little bit darker because he has to dry a bit, but it's the same thing. So your snowman has some shadow, gives it a little bit of dimension, and doesn't look quite as gray. And once it dries, it'll be just fabulous. So let me go ahead and add that snowman hat, and I'll put the picture down in the comments. So thank you for dropping by, and please come back to Myra's Crafting Playground. I'm Myra Webb. Thanks, and have a good evening.